And welcome back to Who Would Win, and I know I'm going to get people on my ass. Anytime Naruto comes up, I'm going to get them on my ass. But Naruto versus Sasuke Aizen. This one came to me from Shadow King and Sajin Singh. If someone else had given me the suggestion, I didn't see it. I may have missed it, or I just didn't write it down when you suggested it all a while ago. Normally, I write down like 99% of all the suggestions I get, but still. Naruto, I've done God knows how many times at this point, and Aizen, I've done a few times. I've done them enough. So, uh, just adjusting myself here. So, with Bleach characters versus Naruto characters, there's a the whole Ichigo versus Naruto thing, death battle was very contested. I also stand on the side that Ichigo probably should have won that fight, but whatever. But there's a lot of people who back up Naruto being stronger as well. So how do I think he fares up against one of the biggest bads of Bleach? Period. Well, let's go over Naruto first. Naruto Uzumaki obviously is he's not actually the last Uzumaki, but he's one of the last. There's not a lot of Uzumakis around anymore. He was born. He's the container of the Kyuubi, and he became the Hokage. We'll look at Naruto at his strongest, at his peak, basically. Even without tapping into the Fox's chakra, he's immensely durable, resilient. Chakra reserves off the charts. Shadow clones can expand for days, which can be used for distraction, information gathering, training, the whole 9 yards. Obviously, his Rasengans, all God knows how many versions of them at this point, including Rasen Shuriken, Big Ball Rasengan, Standard Rasengan. That honestly, in base form, that's actually all he's really capable of doing. Now that I think about it, all the variants of the Rasengan came when he was able to access Sage mode, and then Fox mode, and then obviously Six Paths mode. When you actually break it down in base mode, Naruto doesn't have that many Rasengans he can use. But then you go into Sage mode, which allows him to absorb energy from nature. This increases his durability and strength to... Actually, it's not really even said how high it's really increased. But he was able to fall from basically... mountains level, not mountains level, but a very tough, long distance. Again, never actually said how tall that was. Probably about maybe 100, 200 feet high in the air, and he was fine. He was able to throw a giant rhino over the cliffside or over the hillside when Pain summoned the rhino. He has reflexes that allow him to basically kind of sense the area around him. His chakra actually surrounds him, so even if he misses you with a punch, it's still going to affect you, like how it broke the Predapath's neck when he fought. Then, of course, it allows him to do... he can't do that many Shadow Clones. Well, he used to not be able to do that many Shadow Clones in Sage, but now I think that little issue's been mitigated. Allowing him to throw the Rasen Shuriken, the Rasengan Barrage, Big Ball Sage Rasengan, like the Great Ball Rasengan, the giant mountainside, or I don't know how big that car-sized one will say, like Jiraiya did. Trying to remember if he had any other techniques right off the top of my head in Sage mode. Any odds he can summon toads. And then obviously you go into Kyuubi mode. Once he's in the Kyuubi mode / Sage mode, he can move faster than light. We know that for a fact because the attack that Madara used against him was supposed to be the speed of light, that light fang attack, and he dodged it. So we know he can move faster than light. He has access to all the 5 chakra natures, including all the tail beast nature techniques. So ink release, magnet release, lava release. Well, technically it's not magnet release. It's a specialized type of... it's Shikaku's chakra. Lava, like I said, lava release, boil release, steam release, whatever it was that the Seven Tails had, ink release, and then obviously Kurama's just standard tail beast bomb. And at that point he's got access to all his Rasengan variants, the planetary Rasengan, which I always liked the planetary Rasengan. I thought that was cool. The mini Rasen Shuriken, the Great Ball Rasen Shuriken. At the point he gets the Kyuubi mode, he's pretty much stronger than anyone in his village. He's probably stronger than even like Tsunade at that point. Then once he gets the actual, six sage chakra, then he truly becomes stronger there at that point. Um, so, and then obviously he has access to chakra. He's got chakra, the truth-seeking spheres, which are comprised of all 4 chakras, which can morph into the rods he uses. He can also use them to actually fly, if I'm not mistaken. And he's ultimately just extremely powerful at this point. Like, and obviously as an adult, he for a little bit he was actually weaker because he stopped training, but then he got back to training, and for all I know is he at least got back up to his peak, if not stronger. So Naruto is immensely powerful. Obviously, the Tail Beast Bomb is there as well at his disposal, and yeah, Naruto is more or less planetary. I mean, his chakra alone hollowed out a moon in the movie, so you add the Fox's chakra, which is more chakra than he has. Then yes, Naruto ultimately is planetary in terms of his abilities. He'd have to make one hell of an attack to destroy the planet, but for all intent and purposes, yes, he is planetary in terms of his level of power. So, Sosuke Aizen. We don't actually know how old. Actually, we don't even know how old. Yeah, we know he was head captain for over 1,000 years. He's over 2,000 years old. But we don't actually know an exact age of Yamamoto. We don't know an exact age on Sosuke Aizen either. More than likely, he's a good couple hundred years old. But point being, like all Shinigami, he's much older than he looks. But like all Shinigami too, he's a spiritual being. Now Naruto can circumvent. He'll be able to send Sosuke's there. And in these fights, I always make it so they can see each other, so that's not an issue. But what form of Sosuke Aizen are we using? We're using just base form Aizen, which admittedly we actually saw very little of base form Aizen and what he can do, because by the time he goes to fake Karakura, he already is fused with the Hogyuku. So do we go with Hogyuku Aizen? Do we go with this version of Aizen? Do we go with the butterfly Aizen? Do we go with the weird Venom-looking Aizen? Or do we go with the Aizen in the final arc? For the sake of overall rounding it, I guess we'll say, we will go with, or for sake of honest depiction, we'll go with Aizen as we see him in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, the final Aizen. Because at that point, Aizen's as strong as we'll ever see him in the series. Because he's actually gotten stronger since being in the chair, which is amazing to say. So, Aizen's most deadly ability is his intelligence. Except for Kisuke Uehara, who he even admitted was smarter than him. There is no one who beat him in intelligence. He knows how to get into your head. He knows how to play you. He knows how to strategize. He's just that many steps ahead of you that most of the time. He is manipulative. He is cunning. He is ruthless. But he does it all with a very calm, collect demeanor. He is, by his own admission, he has mastered every art of being a Shinigami. From Kido, which we see him using level 99, Hado, and I probably can do Bakudo. That is the highest Kido goes in terms of the list on the spell listing, is 99. And we saw him do that against Yuwak. Unfortunately, it didn't do much, but, just because Yuwak was haxed as hell at that point. It was haxed versus a bigger hax at that point. But still, he has all the Kido at his disposal, which, going off the ones I can remember real quick, that's Sai, which is level 1, but even a level 1 done by a master could be the equivalent of like a level 50. So he's going to do level 1 Sai, which is just blasting you with a bolt of energy, just kind of like, boom, concussive bolt. Bakudo number 4, Hado number 4, which is Pale Lightning, Byakurai. Hado number 11, which is Tensen, I want to say. Basically an electric shock. You need a conduit over that. Obviously, Shakuho, Sokatsui, Raiko, all energy attacks. Double Sokatsui. I can't even remember the name. Shinteki Raiho. I can't remember the full name. It's a giant energy blast. 90 Black Coffin, his favorite one, honestly. 92 Ikutozo, which he has to sacrifice a portion of his body for, but yeah, it becomes a giant fiery energy blade. And then obviously level 99, which is the War Dragon, which is a giant energy dragon. Obviously, the Bakudos are all going there as well. In terms of, so he's mastered Kido, he's mastering it in combat, but despite that, Aizen never really doesn't strike me as a hand, like, if he's mastered it, he's probably extremely deadly at it, but I don't think he has. I mean, again, we never see him fight hand to hand, so we never know how good he is at hand to hand. But he's not. It's just not his forte. Yeah, he could probably handle himself. He's probably good at it, but it's just not his style of fighting. Then you get into Shimpo, Flash Step, Super Speed. Obviously, he mastered that, though. To be fair, he probably still wasn't as fast as, say, like Yamamoto or Soy Phone or anything like that, just because they were like the undisputed masters of it. Or Yoruichi, yeah, they probably still outclassed him in speed, at least for a certain amount of time. God, I got like stuff on my nose. So there's that, and then Zanjutsu, the Art of the Sword, and by all accounts, he has a Bankai, he just never used it. And we know for a fact he could still use the Shikai because he more or less must have merged with his sword when he fought Yuak. So, not Sogina Kotowari. Oh God, why am I Suigetsu? Kokia Suigetsu. It's basically controls all 5 senses upon its release. So he can, mostly it's done to create illusions, but it's capable of doing just about anything. And because it can, if it's manipulating all 5 of your senses, it can make you feel like you're touching something you're not touching, even though you're not touching it, and they can just come and kill you. Smell, sight, all of that. It's an illusion creating Zanpakuto. And it's a perfect hypnosis, as well as he calls it. And he's capable of doing this even though he no longer has his blade. But one big thing we need to go over before we really get into this fight is how strong Sosuke Aizen actually is. Because here's the difference right from the get between a Naruto character at their strongest, some of the strongest Naruto characters, and a Bleach character at their strongest. With Naruto characters, they can be world enders depending on the level of power, but they can be. Naruto is extremely powerful. You know, Kaguya was extremely powerful. The Akutsukis, the other people who look like Kaguya, they're extremely powerful. Sasuke is extremely powerful. So these are all extremely powerful individuals. But never once. I mean, you can talk about like the amount of power that's being exerted and all that, but never once is the amount of power they're exerting like dangerous to other people around them unless they're attacking them. Never once, at least from everything I've seen, never once are people threatened by the sheer presence of this character. Aizen reached a level of power so powerful that normal people were literally evaporating in front of him just by him being near them. His very presence was enough to destroy people, and he only got stronger from then. His very Ryatsu literally crushed all these like black virus-looking Ryatsu minions from Yuak when he fused with the Soul King. Crushed them like gravity itself. Naruto does not have that type of power. At least not from just flexing his power. It's Aizen does have that. So in terms of their actual energy output, Aizen actually is probably stronger than Naruto in terms of the amount of energy he's outputting. Simply on the grounds that his sheer presence alone destroyed weaker soul. Now, that's not to say Naruto's going to be affected the same way, because Naruto is not a weak soul. But weaker souls, regular people, were crushed by his sheer just walking by them. And that was without him actually even trying. So, in terms of energy output, Aizen's actually stronger. At least from my point of view. From what it's demonstrated between characters. So that said, who would win this fight? Well, it's pretty easy to set up this fight. Aizen breaks out, wants to take over the Naruto world. Naruto opposes him. So the fight breaks down. Now, right out of the get, there's one ability in Naruto's I failed to mention. And it's actually an important ability, is that the ability to sense negative emotions, killing intent, things along those lines. Something like that circumvents his absolute hypnosis. So, his his Zanpakuto. His Zanpakuto's ability, well, it would work because Naruto would still be affected by the illusion. Naruto can circumvent that with both Sage Mode and with Kurama's chakra, or Kurama's negative emotion sensing. So his Zanpakuto actually would not be an effective weapon against Naruto, and he would quickly figure that out too. Their fight commences, and Naruto is immediately kind of like shooken by what he's sensing off of Aizen, and that's very little, but the little he's sensing, because Aizen is great at hiding his emotions. But the type of power he's sitting is a very cold but great power, and it kind of unnerves Naruto a little bit, but still Naruto goes in and fights. Now, in terms of speed to speed, I'd actually say these guys are probably on par. Aizen might vaguely edge out Naruto, but it's so hard to figure out how fast Aizen is, and there's no real definitive. Yes, Screwtack did calculate it, but let's be honest, Screwtack isn't always perfect. And again, I call some BS on the Naruto versus Ichigo fight as it is. So that number's probably no good. So they're probably on par, if not one probably edges out the other, and I might go Aizen, but I wouldn't argue anyone who says Naruto's faster. Still, they'll go toe to toe for a while. No one really getting the edge on the other. With the Hogyoku in him too, he pretty much has nigh immortality. That's another problem with Aizen, is that he has nigh immortality. He will regenerate from serious injury. That being said, Naruto's still able to land with Sengans. He's still able to really pound into him. Unfortunately, he's just can tank most of this. To which Aizen constantly, I must admit, I'm impressed. There's not many who can fight me in this form. The form, tell me, what is your name? I am Naruto Uzumaki of the Heavenly Village, and you're a threat to the world and the peace we work so hard for. A threat to peace, you say? Tell me, what if I told you peace is a lie? And Aizen just starts to monologue and get into his head. And Naruto's like, yeah, I don't care. And then Aizen just dodges it and just keeps monologuing. I said, shut up! And, even as an adult, Naruto could still get raw. The little I've seen of Boruto, what I've seen of like Boruto, the last movie, which I have seen most of that movie. Even adult Naruto, even though he's far more mature, could still get riled up. Just takes a lot more to rile him up. Unfortunately, Aizen can tell. Asks, tell me, are you a father? And to which he sees Naruto subtly, but he sees it, and Aizen's perceptive flinch, and he starts to grind in on him, on his family. And that's the no button right there. It's like, oh, you are dead. And he goes into full Kurama. I was like, interesting. A hollow? No, you're something else. And to which even Kurama's like, oh, I want this guy dead. Starts to make tail beast spawn. To which Aizen just like, Bakudo is 63, Bakudo 61. No, 61. Ryoju Koro. And then the 5 points come in, and it's a big one because it's Aizen. So he's actually trapped in Kurama's. What is this? And Kurama still is able to start ripping out. Impressive, you can rip her off. So, I can't remember the name of it. The one that's the giant chain starts to just bind Kurama's like, what? And even Naruto's like, what is this? But still, Kurama's able to get the tail beast bomb off. Just boom. 81. Danku. Boom. And then it blows it. Now, would the tail beast bomb be able to destroy Danku, which is able to block all but 90 level Hados? That's tough. Because that's assuming that any of the 80 level Hados are any of the 80 Hados done by the right individual would be planetary in nature. I will say that a strong enough tail beast bomb, would get through Danku. And even Aizen is kind of recognizing, that is some power you have there. The Danku would hold for a little bit, though. I don't think it would just break through it like the Four Tails bomb against the triple Rashomon. But I do think it breaks eventually. But Aizen, it's enough time Aizen gets away, and he prepares his next attack. He's like, and then finally Kurama Naruto does break out of it. Unfortunately, Aizen's right there. It's like Hado number 90, Black Coffin, Kura Kutsuji, I believe it's called. And again, it supposedly warps space, time, and gravity. So the Kurama's getting trapped in there. He's hammering on it, cracking it. And I think he is able to break it, only for Aizen and then be like, you are quite the troublesome one indeed. It's like, we'll kill you! And then all of a sudden creates the giant Rasenguns, and Aizen just dodges them again, and then does Hado 91 Ikutosu, I believe it is, the giant flame blade, and he destroys an arm. The arm will eventually grow back, and it does hit Kurama, and it hurts. Like, let's not mince words right now. When you see that attack in the anime, that's probably not even that. Aizen's already very durable as it is at that point. So the fact that barely did anything is isn't a measure on the technique itself. And it's honestly about as large, if not larger, than Kurama, the technique. So it hurts, and Kurama and Naruto are kind of reeling, and you bastard! And then finally he just kind of claps and grabs Aizen, like, you're dead. It's like, and Aizen's like, I see. How interesting. And all of a sudden Aizen appears right behind him. You think you're holding me right now? And Aizen just disappears and asks, what? And then just turn around, and he just says, Hado 99, War Dragon. And the War Dragon goes out and just tackles Kurama to the ground, and it's just a giant explosion of death and destruction. Naruto's still okay, but he's receded from the fox. And I was like, how? I thought I said you. True, but once you lost your composure, it was easy to fool you and deceive you. It was easy to deceive you about my whereabouts. You seem to have an ability to ignore my illusions, but only if you're actually thinking on the subject. To which Naruto now he's in trouble. Naruto doesn't have a Wolverine healing factor, but he does have a healing factor, but it's just not going to be able to recover at this rate. And Aizen's just like, do not fret. I have no intention of destroying this world. In fact, I wish to cleanse it and subjugate it. It will be mine to rule for a few millennia. And to which he comes in front of Naruto and just stabs him right in the heart. Just Naruto. So it ends. And all of a sudden Naruto grabs it. Yeah. Pops up his Kyuubi mode one more time, because at this point he's pierced right through the heart. There's no coming back from this. So the question is, unless Kurama can intervene, he goes full sage mode, 6 stage mode, and then just does one final blast right in final Aizen, the biggest Rasen Shuriken he can make, Tail Beast Rasen Shuriken, giant explosion, and unfortunately, for all you Naruto fans, Naruto, because he was at the epicenter, dies. Aizen is hurt. He's feeling, it's like, he had that much power left in him. That's impressive indeed. Unfortunately, Naruto is still dead, and Aizen still walks away. The problem here in this fight is really comes down to this. Twofold for me. Actually, comes down to threefold for me, really. Naruto actually has far more abilities, technically, than Aizen has demonstrated, but Aizen has access to pretty much all Kidos there is, so they're evened out on abilities. Speed-wise, they're almost equal. Naruto might edge him out. Aizen might edge Naruto out. It's just can't figure it out. But energy output, it's actually Aizen who edges out Naruto. Naruto's got all planetary levels of energy. He could destroy a planet, hypothetically speaking. But he hollowed out the moon with just his own chakra, not even including Kurama's or even the Sage chakra. But the problem is, Aizen literally is able to affect gravity itself, destroy lesser beings just by them being in his presence without him even flexing his energy. So Aizen trumps him in energy. He trumps him also in intelligence and experience. He's far older and has had far longer than even Kaguya has. And he knows how to get into people's mind. He knows how to exploit their mental flaws. Naruto, for all his maturing in the series, would still be someone he could exploit. I just think he would be. And finally, there's the durability issue. Aizen is nigh immortal, and the Hogyuku is mildly sentient. You'd have to destroy the Hogyuku in order to destroy Aizen, and no one was able to figure out how to destroy him in Bleach, and there's nothing in Naruto that really demonstrates the ability to destroy him, save for maybe that Ashbone technique that Kaguya uses, and even then, debatable. If there is a technique that could literally just destroy Aizen, Naruto doesn't have it. The Tail Beast Bomb, the Truth-Seeking Orbs, normally would just destroy an individual on contact, but but a stronger individual is going to resist that or possibly even just ignore it. And Aizen is a much stronger individual in many regards. So taking in energy output, experience, and intelligence, and the fact that Aizen really just can't be killed, I gotta go with Aizen. I know I'm gonna piss a lot of Naruto fans off on that, and that's okay. I'm not afraid to speak my opinion. Which again, I always want to reemphasize this. It is just my opinion. This is just going off the facts I have about the characters. If looking at the facts you think Naruto wins, that's fine. I don't care. Absolutely. But for my money, if you ask me, put $5 down, who do you think wins? I'm going with Aizen. But that is just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, whatever, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. We'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time.